For some reason, Bret Michaels could let it roll off his back,
Right.
you know, and Janie Lane could not.
The very first time I ever heard Forever Young, I had to stop in my tracks.
One of my earliest memories is my dad blasting Don't Treat Me Bad.
I appreciate that I won't be the only one with Electric Angels on their list.
It pained me not to make my whole list from 91, 92.
Hey,
What are you gonna say,
Mariah,
guys?
I met your boyfriend the other day. He was at some club. I don't know. He was dancing with some dude. I think making out with him a little bit. He looks like a hell of a kisser.
Can't remember what song it is, but there's like a reggae riff, and
Yes.
it really pissed me off. And I was like, fuck this album.
Have you ever seen Ryan go to the bathroom? He's definitely given up an inch.
If Joe Lestay's out there, he should come on and get interviewed by the Guru because that guy kicks ass.
I'm just like a secret House of Lords super fan.
There's a reason I wore this fucking shirt.
I think a lot of Poison fans had grown up by 1993.
Ryan, you're number one.
After the Rain, Nelson.
Yes. Hey, Mariah, I was just touching my penis. Hope you're not jealous.
Firehouse's self-titled album from 1990.
Mariah, check out that shirt.
Oh yeah.
Shit. I mean, we always thought Mariah looked good in the first place, but now you put a fucking hair metal guru shirt on her and fucking she's ready to start modeling on Sports Illustrated or something. I still got a hard on from that.
The hair metal guru from Warren to Crew. The hair metal guru. Never forget Charlie too.
Welcome to the Hair Metal Guru. My name is Anthony. They call me the Guru, and holy shit, this is a video that has been screaming to be done since the start of this channel. Today, we are talking about our favorite hair metal albums of the dreaded fucking 1990s. And, you know, which is a period that many people wouldn't think of as a utopia of hair metal excellence. But holy shit, there's a ton of great albums that came out during this period. So I got four of us. I got Ryan, Mariah, and Patrick here to rank or to number our top 10 albums, hair metal wise, from the 1990s. And with that, let's meet our little round table. Ryan from the band Metalcast, who just put out a new song today. I shared it on my X account. And shit, now what's it called again?
Your Last Breath.
Your Last Breath. They just and he's the vocalist for the Rat tribute project called City to City. Ryan, welcome back to the show.
Thank you very much. A massive amount of material to cover here. Let's face it, all the way up to like 93 was basically 80s. So I didn't include the Razor's Edge or any Crocus or any Def Leppard as a disclaimer, but that would have been too easy and a little predictable of me. So, but great topic, and I appreciate being here.
Awesome. And Mariah, check out that shirt.
Oh yeah.
Shit. I mean, we always thought Mariah looked good in the first place, but now you put a fucking hair metal guru shirt on her and fucking she's ready to start modeling on Sports Illustrated or something. Mariah, thank you for being on. Welcome back to the show.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. I love the shirt. It's very nice. And yeah, I'm super excited. My favorite year of music is 1991, and there's a lot of really good hair metal albums that year and several other years. So this will be a great video. I'm super excited.
Yes. And hey, if you want your own hair metal guru merch, it's down in the fucking description. So check that shit out. And we also got Patrick, my good friend from Vermont, sporting the Skid Row shirt and the epic background. Patrick, welcome back.
I chose the Skid Row shirt of the album you least like.
Yeah, holy shit. They did make Subhuman Race shirts.
That one's cool. I like that one.
No problem. It's awesome to be here, and I'm jazzed as heck to be with Mariah and Ryan. So this will be a great time, and I gotta say it was crazy trying to pick just 10. So
oh yeah, I was just telling Patrick before we started, or telling these guys that there will probably have to be a part 2 because I'll be honest, I left off some of my favorite fucking albums. There's so many great albums during this period. Hey, I'm gonna put Patrick and Mariah's X account information, so go ahead and follow them on X. Follow me on X at Hair Metal Guru. And hey, I host Hair Metal Mansion on Rock 101 KLOL every Saturday from 6 to 8 Central Time. 2 hours of rock and talk about the greatest musical genre of all time. So I would love it if you checked out that. And the link to that is in the description. So, yes, I had to leave off a ton of great albums, but, you know, Nirvana came out in 1991, but some people act like hair metal ended then. There was a ton of great shit coming out, in my opinion, all the way through 1995. So there's gonna be a need. There's gonna need to be a part two. And I don't know. Anybody else have any? Was it difficult to make your list? I thought it was. I didn't think that there was going to be as many that I wanted to put on as I did. Ryan, how about you?
Yeah, my honorable mention list is heinous. There needs to be a number part two of this one. It was difficult.
There's probably going to be a 1D and 1E and 1F.
Yeah, Ryan.
Not this time. Not this time.
Okay. All right. Mariah, difficult to make your list?
Oh yeah. No, I definitely thought I'm like, oh man, there's a lot of great 90s albums, but I can easily pick up my top 10 out of that.
And I think there's going to be one that people are probably going to be shocked that isn't on my list. Fuck, I almost feel kind of bad about it. So anyway, Patrick, difficult to make your list.
It was. I had to reach out to some friends and run some things by them, and you know, I purposely in my list picked ones that I didn't think other people would. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna
I
be.
just went with my top 10, except I didn't put two from the same band because
Right.
I would have had multiple from Warrant and maybe another band.
Sure. Patrick, if Subhuman Race makes your fucking list, I'm gonna be. I don't know what I'm gonna be, but I'm
no,
gonna.
we don't have an 8 ball, and it could be Outlook.
No, my
Personal.
boyfriend told me that ought to be in my top 3, and I'm like, no, it's not even in my top 10.
Your
Like
boyfriend's a smart man.
he
All
loves that album. I showed him that
Oh,
album. He
shit.
absolutely loves it.
People listen to that thing on purpose. I'm
I'm
just
starting
kidding.
to think that Anthony's in the
Yeah,
minority.
Into Another is his favorite Skid Row song, and I'm like, dude, over Slave to the Grind and the debut.
Yeah.
All right.
And now we're getting off track. I love Breaking Down. I mean, I could put that on a list of my favorite Skid Row songs, but outside of that, anyway, the video isn't about Subhuman Race. The video is about our 10 favorite, and we use the term loosely because I'm gonna have some albums on here that aren't gonna be fucking real, but we've said that a million times. It's hair metal or hair metal adjacent, closely related. So with that, let's get into it. I think we're going to go this route. We're going to go Ryan, Mariah, Patrick, myself. Ryan, what's your number 10 hair metal album from the 90s?
All right. Well, let me just name a few songs here to make a 90s top 10 album statement, okay? Pound Cake.
Ooh.
Run Around, Right Now, The Dream Is Over, Top of the World, 316, Van Halen, For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge. Definitely my favorite Sammy era album. I kind of consider it a comeback after OU812 didn't exactly burn it up. Eddie gets back to shredding. Sammy sounds amazing. The drums are huge. Secret Weapon, Michael Anthony, huge tour, huge success. I'll never stop playing this album.
So I've been fairly honest on the channel that I like Van Halen a lot, but I'm not like they're one of the bands that I was like, I can take or leave. That is probably the album that most grabbed me from the Van Halen and for sure the Van Hagar years. Those songs you listed. So I don't know what it is. I've always said like I'm not into bands that are like overly talented, like when there's a lot of blah, 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 and I'll be honest, I don't think Van Halen lyrics always were my favorite.
Oh gosh,
So,
no.
Right, Mariah? I think we've kind of talked about this.
Yeah, lyrically at least some to be desired.
Yeah. So,
But I really like that album. That's a good album. It's my second favorite. Oh, it's my second favorite from the Sammy years after 5150. Maybe my third favorite overall after that, the debut. And there's just some great songs. Right Now, you mentioned Dream Is Over, all those. There's some phenomenal songs. So that's on my honorables. That's a great album. Great call.
Fantastic record, and song like Runaround especially. that one just has always grabbed me. I've always loved that song. I love Balance for a few songs on there too, because they got heavier on Balance. But damn, there's no denying that that's a top 10 album for the genre. So
Yeah, yeah, it's way better than it very much improved off of OU 812. I did not care
big
for
time.
that outside of a song or two, and that was pretty cool. They returned back and did a better album.
The great pick.
Now I changed my view and it changed the order of where you guys are sitting at.
Sorry, one second.
So what did I say? I said Ryan, Mariah, Patrick. So all right, Mariah, you're up next. Ryan, Mariah.
Okay. So coming in at number 10 for me, and the way I did this too is I obviously one per band. And just looked at them all, and then I picked out what my favorite song was from each of them and what I thought the most underrated song from each of them was, because I felt like you should give all the stuff on the album a good shout. So coming at number 10, I have Firehouse's self-titled album from 1990. Album I grew up on, really love it. My favorite song off of there is probably Love of a Lifetime or All She Wrote, and to me the most underrated song is Ought to Be a Law. I just think it's a pretty solid album from start to finish.
Wow. And I like, again, I was never the world's biggest. I think Love of a Lifetime burned me out. That thing was so fucking, you couldn't get away from it. So I'll be honest, that was an album that I didn't expect to hear, but I'm not judging negatively, so I can respect that.
It's interesting though, because my top songs from Firehouse would be off their second album. This one just feels a little more consistent,
Sure.
but my probably top 3 songs would be off the second album. But I don't know.
Dude.
I grew up hearing it. One of my earliest memories is my dad blasting "Don't Treat Me Bad" in the car, like on the way to church or something like that.
No mention of the epic "Home Is Where the Heart Is." I love that song.
Well, that's a great song too. There's quite a few good ones I really like on that. Lover's Lane, it's fun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's like
Great
the
pick.
ultimate summer album too. It sounds so great blaring from a car. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I can attest to that.
I've said that what came out in 1990, you weren't getting many new bands that were coming out and going platinum, double platinum, but Firehouse and Slaughter. There was Damn Yankees, but Damn Yankees had all those known names. So
Yeah, supergroup. I don't know if they count.
Firehouse was like they and I think Slaughter were the last. So salute. Okay. Patrick, what's your number 10?
My number 10, it comes to us in the glorious year of 1993, will undoubtedly be a unpopular pick, and is the fantastic 1993 release from Poison, Night of Tongue. I love that record. I love everything about that record. I know most people have complaints about it, but I think everybody found a track or two that they liked on that record. But my favorites include the epic Blind Faith is an amazing song. Strike Up the Band, Ain't That the Truth? The album was originally, when they were recording it, going to be called Resurrected, which they moved on from that. They pushed for The Scream to be the first single on that, and the record company said, not a chance in hell. We're going to release Stand. And so, I don't think there was a single on that record that was going to make classic Poison fans happy when that album came out. It was just such a drastic departure. And a lot of Poison's fans, I always say this on X, is that I think a lot of Poison fans had grown up by 1993. They weren't in middle school or high school anymore. They were moving on.
I hadn't grown up.
But I think a lot of them, their tastes had started to move to other things that were more popular at that time, and Poison was playing a little bit of catch up there. And unfortunately for them, it didn't resonate, but it resonated with me, and it's an awesome album, and I love it.
I don't hear like the Scream. I think that's a horrible idea for a single.
Bret Michaels had a vision for it.
I liked Until You Suffer Some, Fire and Ice.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be honest, like the opening acoustic strum of Theater of the Soul sounds like you're getting ready to hear Every Rose Part 2. And I love Theater of the Soul. Like, and the lyrics are phenomenal. It's kind you can kind of tell that it's about the breakup with Cece. And if you had to have a ballad, I would have gone Theater of the Soul. I thought it was amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
great
love
song.
that. I love that song. I'm a big fan of the album. I considered putting it in my top 10 because I love it and I've listened to it a whole lot. Theater of the Soul and Ride Child Ride are probably my favorite ones.
Ride Child Ride is good.
Yeah, Ride
But
Child Ride is fantastic. So
yeah, I just think that's a great album. So, I didn't mind it was a little different, but I guess I can see how some people would. I can see how some people would go, no, this isn't it. But me, I'm just like, ooh, more good Poison. Okay.
yeah.
My
Yeah.
choice was Blind Faith.
God, such a great
Yeah.
song. Yeah.
It's my favorite one on the album.
All right. Okay. My number 10, and we talked about 19, you know, even though, like I said, 1991, a lot of people credit that as the year, maybe 92. But in 1990, you could see the cracks starting to show in hair metal. Alice in Chains was coming out. There were still a lot of big albums, but I think people behind the scenes you hear people talking about the Sunset Strip and they're like, it was dying. 1990, it was dead. So, however, the band that started it all, the band that I think is the first band you think of when you hear the term hair metal, still put out a kick-ass album in 1990. So I'm gonna stick with Poison, but I'm going Flesh and Blood from 1990. It went triple platinum. It, in my opinion, was Poison's last gasp. Even like yes, you like Native Tongue. I have grown to enjoy Crack a Smile because Patrick keeps beating that album over my head, and I was like, fuck, I gotta listen to that. And I'm like, you know what? Shit, I do like Crack a Smile now, but. Flesh and Blood, the title track. Ride the Wind is amazing. Something to Believe in is what an epic, heartfelt ballad that really hits me because it talks about, Vietnam vets, talks about their security guard who died. And we talked about that in my Ricky Rocket interview, if you haven't checked that out. Come Hell or High Water, Let It Play, Life Goes On. Shit, Life Loves a Tragedy, one of my favorite Poison songs of all time. So I think most of some of my favorite Poison songs ever come on the first two albums, but I think Flesh and Blood is the most complete. The deep tracks are phenomenal. So I have said that I think Flesh and Blood is the best Poison album. It comes in at number 10.
No
Amen.
arguments here. There's a reason I didn't have Native Tongue on my list, so you'll see that one later.
All right.
Phenomenal album.
You know what's amazing is on the Swallow This Live record, they do one fuck of a version of the ballad there midway through the record. What is it? Life Goes On.
Life Goes On.
Yeah, amazing live version on Swallow This Live.
Yeah. Okay, we're moving on to our number nines. I'm gonna change the order because I see you guys. So we're gonna go Mariah, Ryan, Patrick now. So Mariah, what's your number nine?
Okay, so my number 9, we'll stick with the year 1990. It's a great year. We have the Electric Angels self-titled album, which is a phenomenal album. There's so many good songs. So like picking one was tough. I just think it's hard to deny Rattlesnake Kisses. I love all of them. I feel like it's hard to deny that song. It's a great one. For underrated song that deserves a lot more love than it gets, I would go Home Sweet Homicide.
Okay. Oh, they had so many great word plays. Home Sweet Homicide,
Home Sweet Homicide is so good.
right? I fucking yes, it's on my list. Okay, it's gonna
Yeah,
be.
phenomenal album. It's
Um,
underrated. No one
I'll just
talks.
throw this out there since you didn't talk, but true, the ballad "True Love and Other Fairy Tales" is some of
Yes.
the best lyrics of a ballad of that genre. Um, Shane, their singer, is a friend of mine. I keep begging him, and he just, I'll just be honest, he doesn't really, it's, I think he's really disappointed in what happened with the Electric Angels. So I've asked him if he would come on and talk about it. He doesn't really want to do that yet, so I completely get it. But damn, that album deserves so much better. Anyway, okay.
Great stuff. You good call on that song. I can't believe I didn't mention that in the deserves more love section because it's great.
I appreciate that I won't be the only one with Electric Angels on their list.
No, you will not.
All right. Ryan, what's your number 9?
Scorpions Face the Heat from 1993. It's my ideal Scorpions era. Well, like 79 to 93 was ideal for them, but this one's my favorite. Probably the album I'm most familiar with out of their whole catalog, which is kind of unbelievable. I love the aggression. They kept that signature sound, but they went big, crunchy, huge, big hooks. Someone to Touch, Hate to Be Nice, Nightmare Avenue, No Pain, No Gain, and of course Alien Nation. But this album topped Crazy World for me, which I could have included, which I also love, but this is just my choice Scorpions album, and it ranked as my number 1 of the 1993 list. So that's how much I like it.
So where do you rank it among like their great 80s albums? I mean, do you like it better than fucking Love at First Sting and all that shit? Or
I put that first when I did like a Scorpions list with Metal Mike.
Yep.
I actually had Face the Heat as number 2, if I recall, and Love at First Sting as number 1.
Sure.
So, but I will say, I think I still have like listened to Face the Heat the most. And I think it was like right when I got into the Scorpions in like 94, 95, this was like the latest thing. And then Pure Instinct came out. So I was just like, oh, killer, like new-ish Scorpions to me. And so I just played it through and through like several times, and I still do.
That album's so epic.
I need to listen to Face the Heat more because I've given it a couple spins, not enough that like I don't feel like I've been grabbed by it yet.
Yeah, me too.
I love so many of those, like of those albums that came out in that 1992 to 95 range. So I'm sure I'm sure it's gonna grab me at some point. I just got to give it another spin. So
Yeah. I realize I don't have any album from 1993. I have it from every year in the first 5 years of the 90s, or whatever, 6, except for 1993. So I was going to tell you, oh yeah, favorite 1993 album. I don't know. That's not on here.
90 to 92 is so fucking epic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know it is. And I have one from 94 and one from 95, I think. But it's pretty, heavy towards the very beginning.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Patrick, what's your number 9?
1995.
And my apologies. Hey, our buddy Jay on X, we talked and he was going to get in on this, so we are going to share his list. So Patrick, sorry to interrupt, but maybe when you do your number 9, you can then give his number 10.
Yeah, so a good friend of the channel there, J629. He's on X. He's a good dude. He's talks quite a bit to me, and he wanted to share some of his list. At 10, he loves Ryan too, and he put in his list here that I got to have a 10A and a 10B.
Okay.
So he's got Electric Angels at 10A and Casanova at 10B.
Nice.
Oh.
And then his number 9 would have been Vince Neil's Exposed. So
Nice.
Okay.
So my number 9 is at 1995, the Bon Jovi album These Days. I know everybody gravitates to a lot of Bon Jovi, and a lot of their fans ended it These Days. I love These Days. It had everything I was looking for in 1995. It wasn't. I love traditional Bon Jovi, but it was a little more mature, and a lot of the complaints on it was ballad heavy, and a lot of those ballads were not your hooky ballads, but they were kind of like a Journey type ballad. And I thought it was a fantastic record. It's got some of the most amazing writing of that band's career on it. If That's What It Takes, Something to Believe In, which has an amazing back and forth vocal between John and Richie. Lie to Me was an incredible song. And then it's even got more traditional Bon Jovi songs like Hearts Breaking Even, which is an amazing ballad on there. So I love that record. It was huge all over the world except here.
Yep.
But the one thing I wanted to point out about it, I put this on X the other day, and a lot of people chimed in on it. I thought Bon Jovi had some serious balls on that record because they put out as the first single was a ballad, and it kind of came and went, which was called "This Ain't a Love Song."
Yep.
But the second single was called "Something for the Pain."
Yes.
And it had such a kick-ass video because it put its middle finger up to all of the grunge and the rap and the industrial artists of the time. If you remember that video, it had like this skater kid go into like a CD store and put on the headphones and in front of like the sampling machine to be able to check things out. And when things like, Dr. Dre would come up, he'd like smack the machine and whatnot. And then John Bon Jovi would come on and he'd be like all about it.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
it was just, I loved it because they weren't afraid to be who they were on that record. And in 1995, everybody was trying to be something else. So good for them. Great record.
If you know the magazine, and they have Ultimate Classic Rock, and there's the Ultimate Classic Rock webpage. So they shared an article on Bon Jovi, and then they always like at the end of the articles, it'll be like, oh, here we rank the Bon Jovi albums. They put fucking These Days at #1. And I'm not, I like
Wouldn't go that far.
These Days, and I bought that shit right away because even though I've said that I wasn't the biggest Keep the Faith fan, I did like Keep the Faith, and I still loved Bon Jovi, and I do like These Days. Greatest album in Bon Jovi history? No. Solid Bon Jovi album? Yes. So
Well, I've ranked it at one at various points, and it's not been #1. It's always somewhere in the mix of the top three, along with Keep the Faith and Slippery When Wet. So I'm not going to argue that one a lot, but no, I love that album. There's a lot of good songs. I'll mention it later, but you got These Days on it, the title track. Hey God is my second favorite Bon Jovi song of all time. So,
what's your first?
shoot, what? Someday I'll be Saturday Night.
Oh, God.
I love that song.
Great
That song, when Crossroad came out, that song, I was like, holy fuck. I love that song.
Everyone went crazy for Always, but I was crazy for that one too.
Yeah.
Okay, my number 9. Now, most bands struggle when their singer leaves, especially when it's your singer and your main songwriter. Every now and then, there are some bands who come back stronger. AC/DC with Brian Johnson, Van Halen with Van Hagar. But I think when Dizzy Dean Davidson left Britney Fox, I think a lot of people thought that band was fucked because he was I think the main songwriter, and that vocal screech was a huge part of what made that band big. And I love those Britney Fox album. But I'll be damned if Bite Down Hard from 1991 didn't somehow come out and become my favorite fucking Britney Fox album of all time. And that's no mean feat because I love Boys in Heat and the self-titled debut. But Closer, and Tommy Paris on vocals, he doesn't have that screech, but damn, I just love his vocals on that album. Closer to Your Love, Shot from My Gun, Six Guns Loaded, Louder, Lonely Too Long, and then 2 amazing ballads, Over and Out. And I think Look My Way is one of the most eerily catchy fucking ballads. It should have been a hit. I love that song. I love that album. It's a shame that it didn't do better than it did. Bite Down Hard is my number 9.
Great choice.
Awesome. Great choice.
Perfect record.
Fuck,
Perfect.
man.
Love it.
Just kills me that it didn't. And Patrick, thanks for sending me that fucking vinyl. Like, holy shit. I still got a hard on from that.
No problem, man.
Hold on. Yeah. All right. We're moving on to our number 8s. Mariah, what's your number 8?
Yeah, so for my number 8, I have Don't Come Easy by Taiketo from 1991. So moving up a little bit in the years. But for my favorite, I don't think you can beat Standing Alone. Like that song is just so good. It should have been a hit. It should have been massive. I listen to that song and I'm like, oh, it sounds massive. It's so good. For most underrated, I would go Lay Your Body Down. That that one is just such a fun one to sing along to and just play. And like that song grabbed me from the moment I heard it. And I mean, the whole album is great. There's so many songs I really, really like on that one, and I could name, pretty much the whole album, but I will highlight those two. It's a great album.
There's been many points in my life where I've said that Standing Alone by Taiketo was my favorite ballad of all time. I think those lyrics they're in a way heartbreaking, but it wasn't your typical "Oh baby, I love you." I mean, it like really, I think dived into the human condition of fuck, man. Sometimes feeling like, like there's nobody out there who gets you and you're just on your own and you're struggling to find your way. I love that song. It should have been a number one hit in my opinion. So great album. It's not on my list. It would have been one of my honorable mentions, but okay.
I gotta say, the very first time I ever heard Forever Young, I had to stop in my tracks and go, hold on a minute. What is this?
Yes.
And there's those rare moments when you are as hooked into this type of music where there's a lot of things that are great, but they sound like other things. But when you heard that, you went, whoa, wait a minute, this is different. And Danny Vaughn there's no denying Danny Vaughn is a killer singer. I mean, he's just
Unbelievable.
he grabs your attention.
Um, he was on before Taiketo. He was on an album
Wasted.
with Wasted, which was known for being Pete Way from UFO.
Yeah.
Started that band, Wasted, and but they put out an album called Save Your Prayers.
Yeah.
And Danny Vaughn is on that, and that is an amazing album. Go check out the song "Singing to the Night," "How the West Was Won." Amazing shit. And Danny Vaughn is
We're getting a call, so sorry to interrupt.
no problem.
I don't know how long it'll be, but I'll put it on mute so you don't have to hear all this.
Okay, sounds good. All right, Ryan's gonna go save California from forest fires and fentanyl and all sorts of crazy shit. Okay. So that was Mariah, right, with Taiketo.
Yeah.
And Ryan gave me his list, but I think we'll just hold off and he can catch us up when he gets back. So Patrick, what's your number 8?
Well, I'll read Jay's.
Yep.
Jay's number 8 is McQueen Street's first record. So I have no doubt that that's probably going to come up at some point with somebody that we all know that loves McQueen Street.
Oh, okay, Jay, good call.
Possibly more. I'm not sure.
Good call, Jay.
But my number 8 came out. It was recorded in 93. It's hard to say which year, whether it was 93 or 94 that it came out, because it never came out in America. It came out in Japan at one time, Europe at another time. But ultimately, there's no denying that this album is the best album of the band's catalog to this date. And that would be Bang Tango's Love After Death.
Ooh.
Killer record. I mean, the record was way heavier than anything they had done before. It also featured their strongest writing. I know for Guru's side, Guru has said many times that his problem with Bang Tango was the funk.
Yep.
Barely any funk in this record. This album, just from start to finish, it had everything that you had always hoped and you knew was within Bang Tango, and they finally harnessed it. They went and they got the producer from the first record that went on to have a huge career. Same guy that did Pretty Boy Floyd's record.
Howard Benson?
Yeah, Howard Benson. They went and got him back, and you can find that. You can find it on eBay. But my buddy Matt in Arizona went and got that record we did a lot of cruising around Portland, Oregon back in the day. There were a couple places you could buy imports. And I'll never forget the day he walked into my house and was like, look what I got. And we had no idea that album had ever even come out. And that album became an instant classic from the minute we heard it. And our entire high school would hear that in the parking lot at full volume at 8 o'clock in the morning when we came rolling in. So great record, love it. In the tradition of what Mariah's doing, saying, the most underrated songs and whatnot, go check out New Generation. That song and Conversation and Live on the Moon will just knock your socks off. It's such a great album. And if Joe Lestay's out there, he should come on and get interviewed by the Guru because that guy kicks ass.
He should. Have you seen the documentary Attack
Oh,
of
yeah. Watched it many times. That thing's fantastic.
It's great. Um, and I've heard other people say what you said. It's not the funk oriented album of the earlier. And I'm gonna fucking sneeze. Hold on. I might edit that out. I might not. I loved the song "Someone Like You."
Yeah.
But I don't like the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Nope.
Too funky. And Bang Tango just, it's not like they're like the Chili Peppers, but it was just a little more funk oriented. So I should definitely give that one a spin. I think a lot of people, when someone like you came out, I think a lot of people thought, man, he had the look. Joe Lestay was a fucking good looking dude, but they just, after that first album, they kind of sank down a little bit.
The one thing you can say about Bang Tango, I don't think they look like a glam band so much as they fit in with LA Guns more on like the whole like Hollywood Vampires
Totally.
style look.
Totally.
And they played to that, and it's really a shame that they everybody knows Someone Like You, and
Yeah.
everybody heard, Untied and True on the second record had a big video, but that was always on. They were always on, but man, that third record, Love After Death, do yourself a favor and go on YouTube and listen to it. It's awesome. Every song.
I saw them open for Warrant in like 95 or 96. Warrant was either on the Ultraphobic or the Belly to Belly tour. And LA Guns was on the fucking American Hardcore
You got to see that
tour.
garbage.
I saw that, and they played a bunch of that, and I was like, but Bang Tango was really good, Fuck, they were
Solid band. Great musicians.
Yeah. Okay. My number 8 is okay, now yes, this is not a hair metal band, and sometimes I wonder, I'm kind of married to the term the hair metal guru, but sometimes I worry that the name is going to be something that stops people from wanting to come on the channel, if that makes sense. If you're a guy that's like hates that fucking term, and there are people that hate that fucking term, and I don't know if this is one of them. But I have talked with George DeLevo from Rhino Bucket many times, and there was a point where he agreed to come on. There was some problems, so I'm not saying that he's not coming on because of that. It just made me, when I started talking about them, they don't fit. They were never a glam band. They are a fucking straight up hard rock band in the vein of AC/DC. So hopefully they don't mind being associated with the fucking hair metal guru. But in 1992, they put out an album called Get Used to It. And I have said repeatedly, this is the album that AC/DC should have put out after Back in Black. It is that fucking good. Beat to Death Like a Dog, Bar Time, This Ain't Heaven, She's a Screamer. Yeah, She's a Screamer. They had a song on the Wayne's World soundtrack.
They did.
Ride with Yourself. It is amazing.
That is a kick-ass song.
I love that song. And we were fucking, well, I mean, if you were a Rhino Bucket fan, because they put out their debut, I think the debut came out in 90. Then this came out in 92. But you're hoping that being on the Wayne's World soundtrack will be your fucking ticket to the riches and the world tours that you wanted the band to get. I don't know why it didn't happen, because this album is phenomenal. I can't preach it enough. And if you haven't listened to Get Used to It from Rhino Bucket, you need to remedy that pronto. I'm serious.
Great call.
Yeah.
Great call. Great band.
Yeah. One of the bands, there's a few bands, and I'll get to most of them in this list, that I've said, hey, when I started the channel, I'm like, I'm going to promote the shit out of these albums. this is one of them. So, all right, let's move on to Mariah's number 7.
Yeah, so for number 7 from I think my only one from 1994, we have Motley Crue's self-titled album.
Mm.
I really like that album. I love the Vince Neil years. I love John Corabi. Uh, yeah, I just am happy with any of it. My favorite song off that would be Uncle Jack. I really like Power to the Music and Hooligan's Holiday, which is a killer 3-song, to open up the album. I think the most underrated might be Poison Apples.
Oh, yes. I was
Okay.
when I was waiting my turn to talk, I was gonna say, hey, Poison Apples, I think is like the catchiest fucking song on that album.
No, it is. It is. And there's a lot of good stuff. And I like that it went a bit heavier. I like it if it doesn't, or if it does. I just like his vocals, so I think I probably would have liked it either way, but I feel like there was a lot of really good songs on that and a lot of really good playing too.
Have you listened to the Scream album, Let It Scream, with Karabi on vocals?
I don't think I've gotten around to that one yet, no.
Yeah, and it's kind of an underground classic. Not a lot of people know about it, but that's
I've
his.
heard of it.
So that's a solid album. I really like the 94 album. Somebody just posted something on X and they were like, do people really love the 94 album, or were they
Yes.
just, were they so ready for new Motley Crue since it had been 5 years since Dr. Feelgood that they, and I was like, you know what? I don't like it better than Too Fast for Love. I don't like it better than Shout at the Devil. And I probably don't like it better than Dr. Feelgood. But I do really like it. I definitely like it better than Theater of Pain. And I'm kind of, it's probably close with Girls, Girls, Girls. It's a really good fucking album, though.
Yeah, also that's such
spotted
a
that.
weird argument to make of where people just wanting new Motley Crue after a couple years off because hey, if that was the case, people would have loved Generation Swine, but that album was terrible. So that argument holds no water.
I responded to that same thing about do people really like
Yeah.
that? And I got crucified because I said I do love that record
Yeah.
more than Too Fast
Yeah.
for Love.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I
got
really like it.
crucified for that.
Not
But
on my list, but it's a good fucking album.
I
Yeah.
love the 94 record. I think it's absolutely a perfect album. I think it's the best sounding album that Motley Crue ever had produced wise. People think Feel Good was great. I mean, it's the same producer and Tommy never sounded heavier than he did on the 94 record.
Yeah.
And
No.
all the songs on Quaternary that were band songs on there, John's songs were great. In the Motley Crue video, we talked at length about 94, so it's no surprise. I freaking love that record.
I do too. Again, not my favorite one. I think that goes to Too Fast for Love, but man, it is such a good album.
I won't ask Patrick because you didn't give it up, but now I'm wondering, I mean, is that on your list? Is the 1994 album? So
I specifically went out of my way to not be predictable. So
okay. All right.
Yeah, I just went
No,
with
no.
my top 10 no repeats of bands. That's all I was doing.
Okay. All right. So that was the number 7. Patrick, if you want to give Jay's and then your
Sure.
number 7.
Jay's number 7 was Poison's Flesh and Blood.
Oh yeah.
Jay's got good taste.
Copying my list or what? No.
I know, right? I mean, that's a perfect
Did you
record.
give his number 8?
Yeah, his number 8 was McQueen Street.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. What's your number 7?
From 1993, their first record was, your traditional glammy metal. Their second record in 91 was a step more towards what was cool at that time. And in 1993, Shotgun Messiah took a right turn and put out one of my favorite records of the 90s, Violent New Breed. I love that record. I think it's the most ballsy thing they could have done. I think if you give it a chance, I know it's pretty much an industrial rock album. It paved the way for where they went. Tim Skold went out on his own and made industrial music. He joined KMFDM and made industrial music. He joined Marilyn Manson, and I don't even know what you want to call it, but it was good. I loved the records he did with Marilyn Manson, but Violent New Breed was such a kick-ass album. Harry Cody played amazing guitar work in it. it still has in those songs, in each and every song of theirs, is the sound of Shotgun Messiah. Whether it's the lyrics, whether it's the choruses, the song like Monkey Needs, that could have been on the second record, you know? It's a great record. I think people probably turned it off when they heard it
Yep.
because it was just such a different take, but man, that record rocks.
That was a massive grower for me because when I first heard it, I was like, fuck this. I'm not listening to a bunch of industrial, because I loved the 89 debut. I loved fucking Second Coming.
Yeah, great record.
They changed singers, but I can go listen to Violent New Breed now and I'm like, wait a minute, fuck. It is industrial, but like you said, you still hear there is still Saigon Kick in it. It's still fucking,
Or
catchy.
Shotgun Messiah, yeah.
Shotgun Messiah. What the fuck did I say?
Saigon Kick.
Well, I love Saigon Kick too. Anyway,
They can do no
still
wrong.
hear
Yeah.
Shotgun Messiah in it. So yeah, it's much better than I anticipated it being.
People should check out Monkey Needs from that song is or that album is great. So is Jihad. That's a great song. I'm a Gun is heavy as fuck. It's such a great song, but great record. Check it out.
Okay. All right. My number 7. You had to know it was coming, and it's probably a little lower than people would expect. But fucking A, I could have put a couple Lillian Axe albums here. I decided to go with Poetic Justice from 1992. I'm still shocked it came in at number 7, but that just goes to show you how strong this period was. True Believer, Body Double, Living in the Gray, See You Someday. Oh, what a fucking ballad that song is. I've said I think Dying to Live might be my favorite Lillian Axe song. I've shared lyrics from it, so I'm not going to share any lyrics. Go check out the lyrics to Dying to Live. The Promised Land. I think they fucked up by putting out a Badfinger cover called No Matter What as their first single and video. It should have been the song True Believer, but No Matter What is a great version. And if you know the cover of this album, they did themselves no favors. It's like a picture of the band, and you see this old lady holding an axe. Like in
Not great.
1992, not a great idea, I think. But Steve Blaze is an amazing songwriter. Interviewed him for 2 hours. Phenomenally nice guy, but I'm not rating it that high because he's a great guy. It's a great fucking album. Poetic Justice comes in at number 7.
That's a great album. Living in the Gray is one of my favorite Lillian Axe songs for sure. It barely didn't make my list, but it's such a great album. But
Yep.
if it had been like the 1989 one, it would have, because that's my
Right.
favorite Lillian Axe
Right.
album. But
And speaking of 1989, I mean, at some point we got to do like top 10 albums of the 80s. Talk about that'll be a fucking bitch.
oh gosh,
I think
that's
this is tough.
brutal.
Yeah.
At
All
the
right.
same time, I think I better establish what my favorite ones maybe are a bit more than the 90s.
Right.
So,
Okay. All right. We're on to our number 6s. Hopefully Ryan gets back. If not, I'll fucking do his list at some point. Mariah, what's your number 6?
yeah, my number 6 has already been mentioned. It is from 1995 and it is These Days by Bon Jovi.
Great choice, Mariah.
Yeah, you had a great choice too. No, great album. As I said, second favorite Bon Jovi song in Hey God, which could have gone for most underrated because it's got one of the least streams of anything on that album.
Yeah.
But I went with Something to Believe in as being the most underrated one. But These Days, This Ain't a Love Song, Something for the Pain, My Guitar Lays Bleeding in My Arms. It's so phenomenal. The only one I don't love quite as much as the other ones is Diamond Ring, and that one's grown on me a bit more. I just didn't care for that one quite as much, but everything else more than makes up for that, and it's a phenomenal album. I love the deeper lyric writing. I love how it's more thoughtful and goes for kind of deeper topics, and yeah, I just feel like they had some phenomenal songs on that album.
That album got released in every country in a different way with different tracks and all sorts of things. And I bought 3 different special editions of it that were like 2-disc or 3-disc ones back when it came out. But it's amazing to me. And I bet Guru, you'll probably remember this too. When that album came out, it came out to almost no fanfare,
Yes.
and it was barely on it. I mean, Something for the Pain probably got the most play. And when MTV would do like their top 20 each week, it would be like 18, 17. It never got farther than that. But that album came and went completely unnoticed. But everywhere else in the world, it was
Yes.
huge.
And I think they did a lot of touring overseas because of that. I don't know how much they did in America, but I know
Not a lot.
shit.
No, I know it did very well in Japan and stuff like that. It's interesting because the albums that kind of bookended on either side, which I'm also a big fan of, I could have put Keep the Faith on here just as well. They each had at least one big single that kind of at least made that album get a little bit of fanfare. You know, you've got Bed of Roses, and then you have It's My Life.
Yeah.
And this one was kind of the one in the middle that didn't really have a song jump out at people here. So it's interesting how that kind of worked.
You knew hair metal was in trouble when Bon Jovi didn't explode because
Jeez, what the list?
Country, New Jersey, Keep the Faith, all were just massive. And then these days comes out, and in America, you're like, okay, where's
They
the
still survived, it did well
Well,
enough for them to kind of make it through and, had a big hit in
Totally.
2000. So
Totally, totally. All right, Patrick, what's your number 6?
I'll do Jay's number 6 real quick.
Yep. Jay.
Jay's number 6 was Hurricane, Slave to the Thrill.
No shit.
Not a bad choice.
Not a bad choice.
My number 6 came out in 1995, and it's one of Guru's favorite album covers of all time.
Oh boy.
Uh-oh.
Devil in the Details from
Oh my
Saigon
God.
Kick. I love that record. Fantastic record.
Wow.
I love Water, but Devil in the Details is my jam. And that was a great record. It's incredibly consistent. Song like Killing Ground. I mean, damn, that thing just smashes through your speakers. Russian Girl All Around, which was like almost like a punk song. It was so great, so painfully. But the one song on that record that I think is absolutely stunning is an acoustic song called Spanish Rain.
Yeah.
And it is phenomenal. And if you think of a traditional ballad, you'll be horribly wrong because it's not anything. I mean, Saigon Kick didn't play traditional songs, but Spanish Rain is one of the best songs of their catalog. Actually, that when that album came out, it took me like 2 weeks to find it because it was CMC, so it was not easy to find.
Yeah.
But damn, totally worth every penny. And if you haven't heard it before, go out and find it.
What the fuck were they doing with that album cover? Holy shit.
Yeah.
And CMC sucked with album covers. Slaughter's Back to Reality.
Doc and Shadow Life.
I love, yeah, Ultraphobic and Belly to Belly. I've grown to love. I love those albums, so I've grown to love the cover. But I look at their covers, I'm like, eh. So
disappointing. That might have helped them out, People see covers and they try things if the cover's cool.
I love the Water album from '93. I think The Lizard is very good, but I damn near had the self-titled album from 1990, Saigon Kick. I fucking love that thing. So it's in my honorables. Didn't make my list, but it could have. All right. Yes, you're right. That's a great album. Ryan is on his way, so we will let him catch up when he gets here. My number 6. Super groups don't always work, and I don't know. Maybe this is on the lower end of what's acceptable to call a super group. But in the late 80s, the band Journey started struggling. They were floundering. Their singer goes off and does a solo album. Radio and MTV was starting to be like, okay, like bands like Journey weren't, and REO Speedwagon were losing favor. So fucking Neil Sean starts a kind of super group. He has Dean Cain from Journey on it. He gets these two brothers from a Hollywood band called Brunette, Johnny and Joey Gioli, and a drummer, fucking Dean Castronovo, and puts a band together called Hardline, and their 1992 Double Eclipse album. Holy fuck. Um, if this thing comes out, and we say this all the time, but if this thing comes out 3 years earlier, it fucking dominates radio. Ryan, I'm talking about Hardline. It's my number 6 with Double Eclipse. This is one of the all killer, no filler albums. Life's a Bitch, Dr. Love, Rhythm from a Red Car, Hot Cherie, Bad Taste, Taking Me Down, two ballads, Can't Find My Way, Change of Heart. Holy shit. And it's just so disappointing that the album didn't do what they needed it to do. Neil, and obviously Neil had options. He could go back and get together with Journey, and even if they weren't selling platinum albums, they could tour and make a ton of money. So obviously that was a better option for him. Hardline has done many, many other albums, and I do have some of them, and they are pretty good. But that fucking debut from 1992 is timeless. It's so epic. Double Eclipse is my number 6 album.
I'm sad I forgot it. You said it, and I was like, oh, yep, that should have been on there.
There's again, there's gonna need to be a part 2. There's so many great albums that I fucking
Yeah, that one, just going through my the catalog or Spotify, somehow I just missed that one. Great album, great call. That's what I actually do like the album cover of. I know some people don't like it. I think it's cool.
Yeah. Yep. Now it's. Remember, I asked my mom for Christmas for the Double Eclipse album on vinyl. She came through. Thanks,
Yeah.
Mom.
One of the best sounding records in a car.
Oh.
Like to this day,
Dude.
that thing is so sonically well produced that it just sounds incredible.
Hell yes. Okay, that was my number 6. Let's go on to our number 5s, and we'll start with Mariah. And Ryan, when we get to you, you can just get caught up through the ones that you missed.
Okay.
Mariah, what's your number 5?
My number 5 is from 1992, and it's Under the Influence by Wildside. Great album. There's so many great songs on that. Ah, look at that.
There you go.
So many great songs on it. I went with my favorite song being Looks Like Love, and the most underrated song to me on that one is Clock Strikes.
Oh,
Nice.
jeez.
I feel like that one doesn't get any love. That song is so good. I love that song. Hang On Lucy, Monkey See, Monkey Do, Kiss This Love Goodbye, Just Another Night. So far, I mean, the whole thing is such a phenomenal album. And oh, I love that album. I had a hard time not putting that higher. Like, I'm looking at this and I'm like, man, only number 5? That doesn't feel right. But, the rest of it's so good. So
I'm going to bring this up now since there's an unreleased song. I think it came out there was an album put out from Wildside called The Wasted Years, and there was these tracks that they recorded but didn't make Under the Influence. And there's a ballad called Cold December Morning. And you can tell it's not as produced as what ended up on Under the Influence. I cannot stop listening to this ballad. Fucking Drew Hanna, or Drew Rose is what he goes by now. That screech in his vocals, which I think is a huge part of the Wildside sound on that. And I'm like, how did this song not make the album? They did have 2 great ballads, Just Another Night and Kiss This Love Goodbye. So I can see, I'm probably not going to put 3 ballads on an album in 1992. But go check that shit out too. Cold December Morning, phenomenal. So, all right. Ryan, we're on to your number 5, and I can't remember so go ahead and go through the ones that we haven't heard yet.
Okay. My number 8 was Unruly Child, self-titled, from 1992. Mark Free, of King Cobra and Signal. Guitars were the guys from an AOR band called World Trade, guitar and keyboard, and then Jay Shellen from Hurricane on drums. But this is perfect AOR, polished melodic hard rock. Check out On the Rise, Take Me Down Nasty, Lay Down Your Arms, Who Cries Now, Wind Me Up. Like, they're all so killer. So, like, you guys, I came in the middle of a Double Eclipse conversation. It pained me not to make my whole list from 91, 92, and I could have. So
Yep.
I purposely left off Wild Side knowing that, one of you guys would have it on there and represent it. It's also of the class. I didn't add it, but I'm obsessed with that album. So yeah, Unruly Child was my number 8.
I'm just real quick. I need to, because I've listened to that before. There are so many people who talk about that album like being one of the long lost AOR masterpieces. I need to revisit it because I'm like, I've listened to it a couple times, and like you kind of feel like, so I feel like I'm missing something. So I'm gonna check that shit out tonight because so many people talk so highly of it. Anyway,
Deservedly so. It's great.
okay.
Okay, so then my number 7
Yep.
was Saints and Sinners, self-titled, from 1992.
Yep.
And how this isn't my number 1 or number 2 is insane. This is the epitome of 90s updated production. The singer was in the band Sword in the mid to late 80s, and they're kind of like a little bit harder core metal Canadian band. For those of you that don't know it, check out the song called Trouble Is, and you'll be hooked. But he's got one of those like David Reese, deep, pretty maids icon type voices. But like, dude, just crank, rip it up, kiss the bastard, lesson of love. And then We Belong is like one of the best mid-tempo ballads ever. So Saints and Sinners, they're just like, they blow me away every time. My number 6 is where I have Europe, Prisoners in Paradise from 1991. This was my favorite from the Europe catalog, even though I loved their previous stuff, obviously a ton. Had they released this with a combination of some of the gems off of Out of This World, it would have been epically big. But I also kind of chalk it up to just, even though it was 91 and 91 was still generating some platinum plus people, it's basically 80s era metal, but it was kind of a timing issue for this album. But dude, if you hear songs like Talk to Me, Little Bit of Love, and Halfway to Heaven, and then the album tracks Bad Blood, Mind in the Gutter, and Girl from Lebanon, there's not a weak spot on this album. It's hands down my favorite Europe album. So
that's a perfect record.
Yeah, it sure is. Yeah, top to bottom.
For some reason, I just have never been a big Europe fan.
It's the less keyboardy album.
Huh?
Yeah.
It's almost no keyboards.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's odd because we talk about that, and like when you guys were gushing over Taiketo and Electric Angels, I've tried so many times. I own that stuff, and I just, for some reason, it doesn't click with me, and I don't know why. Because I've said before, like I love the Wasted album, but I don't get into Taiketo, and then the Electric Angels, there's just something in there that it doesn't click with me either. And it's got, we gotta hook us up to the brain chemistry tab sometime and be like, why isn't this clicking?
Yes.
So anyway, Mariah, you did your number 5, correct? Right?
Yep.
Okay. So it's my number 5. This is where I stop my ramble. Here's where I have Steelheart, self-titled, from 1990. And this was the vocals that changed my perspective on male powerhouse vocals. Again, huge production, huge drums, huge guitar. Mike's strut on the stage was amazing. Super confident dude. Album had a massive, massive impact on me. And then hearing him behind Mark Wahlberg and Rockstar was actually pretty cool. I actually do like the movie and I love the soundtrack, but their first 2 albums are amazing. The song Like Never Before is amazing off the self-titled. Love Ain't Easy, Gimme Gimme, and then my number 1 ballad of all time, obviously, Angel Eyes.
I thought Love Ain't Easy is one of the underrated songs on that album. And totally. I think it was a single, but I love Everybody Loves Eileen.
Yeah.
Love that song.
Yeah.
So, all right. Ryan is now caught up, and we are on to Patrick will give Jay's number 5. What do we got?
Jay's number 5 was Saints and Sinners. So there you go. Ryan, he likes your stuff. So I love that Saints and Sinners record too. I think it's phenomenal. So my number 5, this band, they weren't around for the heyday of hair metal. And I don't even know that I would consider them so much a hair metal act. But they were in every issue of Metal Edge from about late 92 till 1995. This is their second album. It came out in 1995, and it's the album Seeds by Brother Kane. What a phenomenal record. Phenomenal band. Their singer wound up being selected to be in Damn Yankees when they reunited in the late 90s with John Kalodner, but their record never got released with him in it. Damon Johnson is a phenomenal frontman. Guitar works killer. A couple great songs. The big song from that record was called "And Fools Shine On,"
Yep.
which was all over the radio. It was a huge song. They actually did most of the soundtrack for the Halloween Curse of Michael Myers movie. They had that, almost that whole album was featured in that movie. I saw them on that tour in a small little club. My friend had a cable access show that he would put music videos on at the time, since there was no voice for that type of music. And we went to that concert, and we had spray painted a giant king size bed sheet with Brother Kane on it. And we couldn't get it up to the balcony because you had to be 21 or over to get up in there. So we gave it to some random dude. And about 10 minutes later, the place just went nuts in this small club because he threw it over the edge and it came down. And it was such an epic show. Brother Kane was killer live. They're actually working on a new album now. This will be their first new album in years. But the Seeds album from Brother Kane, if you haven't heard it, it's a killer freaking record. They actually also toured with Van Halen on the Balance tour.
Yes. And I remember hearing "And Fool Shine On" all the time. It was a big radio song. You said, because I remember when there was talk about Damn Yankees getting back together, who was going to be gone?
Tommy Shaw.
Tommy Shaw was, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And that's the whole reason it didn't get released, is because John Kalodner said it didn't sound like Damn Yankees without Tommy Shaw's voice.
Sure. Which I completely get. And speaking of that, Tommy Shaw and Jack Blades put out an album called Shaw Blades.
Yeah, great record.
Hallucination, I think it was called. Oh, fuck. That could have made my list. Okay. All right. We are on to my number fuck. My number 5. My number fuck. And hey, there's a reason I wore this fucking shirt, because damn it, Sleazebees, Screwed, Blued, and Tattooed could have been dramatically, like, now we're starting to get into shit that could be interchangeable, but this is one of the albums that I have done my damnedest to promote throughout the course of the channel. The first time I did a video called 10 Bands Who Could Have and Should Have But Didn't, Sleazebees was on it. There's other albums that are going to be coming up that were on it, but that title track, Screw, Blued, and Tattooed, and Rock in the Western World are the first 2 songs. If those 2 songs don't grab you by the balls, well, then you got to listen to the song When Your Brains Go to the Balls, because that's also a great fucking rock song. And then you got Stranger Than Paradise, kind of a ballad. This Time is a ballad. Check out House is on Fire. Check out Heroes Die Young. Damned If We Do, Damned If We Don't. Holy shit. And I think, while I didn't see a bunch of ads for this album in magazines, they got at least 2. I thought they got 3 music videos. Maybe I'm wrong. Or I think at least 2 pretty decent music videos for this album. If I heard right, it sold a couple 100,000 copies, enough that they got to do another album in 1992 called Power Tool that is also very good. But Screwed, Blued, and Tattooed, I think, is one of the epics in the fucking history of hair metal from 1990. So that comes in at number 5.
Amen. Great album. As is Power Tool. I thought you would put Power Tool, actually.
Yeah. No, I mean, this is number 1, but yeah, Power Tool, if I was going to do more than one, I could have Power Tool in here as well. So
totally. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, we are done with the number 5s. We are on to our number 4. Mariah, kick us off.
For number 4, I have what I view, like, when I think of this album, I think of road trips, I think of a summer album, I think of just growing up. It was a massive album for me all throughout my life, and that is Flesh and Blood by Poison. There's so many good songs on that. Something to Believe in is one of my favorite songs of all time. So that's gonna be the favorite off of that. Valley of Lost Souls was the song that I picked to be the most underrated off that, but all of it's so good. Let It Play, Life Goes On, Come Hell or High Water, Ride the Wind, Life Loves a Tragedy. Any of those songs come on, I'm beyond happy. I'm never skipping any of them. I think of road trips with the windows down in the summer when we used to do a 15-hour road trip from Idaho to California every year, and
Nice.
I love that album.
By the way, did you hear Ricky Rocket mention my choice deep cut during your interview? Ball and Chain.
Yeah,
I
Ball
was
and
like,
Chain.
yes.
Ball and
Yes.
Chain. Yep,
And I
that's
said,
great.
hey, I said, life loves a tragedy, and I think he kind of got the
He got the feels.
Anyway.
He did.
Yeah, but
I
that's
always
my
thought
favorite
Don't Give
Poison
Up an
album.
Inch was great.
Yeah.
Oh, yep. I mean, yeah, any of it. I absolutely love that album.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Ryan go to the bathroom? He's definitely given up an inch.
You know what's odd about that record? When they released the special edition of it, and it had like the instrumental for "God Save the Queen" by the Sex
Oh, yeah.
Pistols.
Yeah.
It's like, what is this doing on here?
Yes.
Yeah, that felt very random.
Yes.
Speaking, you were joking about Ryan. There's been very few jokes this episode. This has been like the most serious one
I
in a
know.
while.
We're so fucking focused on the music. What
The
the hell?
Such
episode
good
is
stuff,
young.
but hey, we're slacking. We're slacking here.
We are slacking. I'm gonna need some help. Somebody start talking about their penis or something. Okay.
Well, I can't help you there, but
Mariah, there's other things you can talk about if you want, but whatever. Okay. That was Mariah's number 4. Ryan, what's your number 4?
XYZ Hungry from 1991. And this one, the guitar sound is so killer and so crunchy. The only other guitar tone that comes close are Robin and Warren on Invasion of Your Privacy and Angus on Fly on the Wall. It's so edgy, such an edgy album. And I feel like they wanted to get a little deep and dark, and they were on the cusp the whole time of getting like edgy and deeper and darker, and it really appealed to me. And of course, the album artwork is ripping. There's 2 songs on this album that I've said before. If someone were to come to me and say, "Okay, get me into this style of music," I might just play them. Don't Say No and Feels Good. Those 2 songs are like the most ripping party anthem, epic rippers. Face Down in the Gutter is awesome, and then Off to the Sun is also killer. So these guys don't get enough credit, man. Those first 2 albums are so fucking good. And this one I think I like better.
Is that the record that has When I Find Love?
No, I think that's the first.
Okay.
I think. I could be wrong, but I think
When I Find Love is like one of the 3 greatest ballads that have ever been written in my book.
I'll look right now because now I feel like a bad fan, but I think it's the first.
Hey, go ahead and look. I need to fill up this water. And I might need to take a piss.
Oh, you know what? Sorry, I got confused with What Keeps Me Loving You. Yes.
Oh.
When I Find Love is on this one. What Keeps Me Loving You is on the first one.
Yeah. No, I love that band. Great
dude.
band. And there's no disputing how great a vocalist Terry is.
Yeah, I know. He's almost like one of those annoying guys that are too good. And you're like, dude, you could be like any genre you want.
Yeah. When he joined Great White on paper, I thought that's a great fit.
Yeah.
But it just didn't translate in my book.
No, it was interesting. I liked their second album with Terry. And then I got to see them live because we have a beach boardwalk here in Santa Cruz. And there was like a huge draw for like retro, if you will, bands. Yeah. Great White played there, and you got like a meet and greet in between sets. And now, mind you, there's like 8,000 to 10,000 people there, like attending a summer night at the tourist attraction boardwalk. So there's thousands of people. One of the bigger crowds they've played. So the meet and greet in between, and I bring all my XYZ shit, and I have them sign like all the CD covers. And then Terry asked me like, "Hey, do you have the new Great White album?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, it's great." He's like, "Oh, what's your favorite song?" And I'm like,
God, the first one.
I was like, I think it's like the 6th one. Like I can't remember the title. Sorry, like they're probably not like song 6. And he's like, "Okay, motherfucker." Like I could tell that you a lying motherfucker. And I was like, "Fuck, I'm caught."
Hey, Mariah, I was just touching my penis. Hope you're not jealous. There we go. Now we're
There you
getting
go.
back.
There's songs for the.
Hey, bring it back.
You just got
Bring back
canceled.
a good one, an oldie but a goodie, right?
Right. That's right. I was gonna say it about Ryan, but he's already been
Views
touching
just
a bunch of
increased.
penises lately. So no. Okay. I need to you've talked about those songs. Because XYZ is just a band that what Inside Out, I'll be honest, I don't really get into that song.
That's so odd. Yeah.
Inside Out.
Because that's like one of the best guitar riffs ever, dude. Like it's so groovy, like it's so good. But there again, like it appeals to me and doesn't register with you.
Oh.
It's very odd, you know.
But and I don't remember what I don't think this is on. I think it's on the other album. Not the song Souvenir.
Oh yeah.
A great fucking ballad by XYZ. I do love that song. Holy
Yeah.
shit.
Nice.
Okay. That's fuck. Ryan's number 4. We're on Patrick's number 4.
Ryan mentioned it earlier from 1996. It's the Scorpions, Pure Instinct.
Ooh.
I love that record.
Wow. Yeah.
I remember my friends and I, the day that record came out, we went at lunch to Tower Records to go buy it in Portland. And, it was only like a 15-minute drive, so you're only going to get through like 3 songs. Well, the first 3 songs on that record are the best 3 songs.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Minute Wild Child kicks in. I mean, with that like bagpipe intro, and you're just kind of going, oh shit, what is this? And then it kicks in and you're like, wow, this sounds like it could have been off of something in 1985. It's so good. But to me, the one amazing thing about that record is the best song on that record is the Japanese bonus track called She's Knocking at My Door, which is phenomenal song. I mean, it is like the rocking song that you wanted from a Scorpions record in 1996. But the knock on that record is it's very ballad heavy. The second half of that is just nothing but ballads, and they're good. They're great songs, and that's why I love it. But if you're, there's some great rockers on it too. Stone in My Shoe is a great song. Soul Behind the Face is a cool, kind of mid-tempo rocker. But if you haven't heard it, check it out. Pure Instinct from Scorpions, and it's got a rad album cover too.
Yeah, it does.
I remember reading interviews, and it was one of the guitar players, maybe in Metal Edge, but talking about the song Since You Came Into My Life.
Mhm.
And it's a good ballad, but it was kind of, it was that lovey-dovey ballad, and in 1996, that was going to be a hard sell. I mean, I still love that kind of thing, but not that I wanted Scorpions to go grunge or anything, but like lyrically, it was a little more old school than what 1996 generally was. Anyway,
that Wild Child song hooked me, and we had a radio station locally that played the shit out of the Scorpions, and they played that a lot. But I remember getting that and liking a few songs, but then can't remember what song it is, but there's like a reggae riff, and it really pissed me off, and I was like, fuck this album. But then I revisited it for a Scorpions top 10, and I was like, I was wrong. Just like Native Tongue, I fucked up, and I listened to it.
It's funny because the Scorpions, you said it earlier, Ryan, and you really hit the nail on the head. Scorpions kind of ended for most people in like 1993, and they put out Pure Instinct. The one after this one, Eye to Eye, it has some great stuff on it too. It's just a really odd record, and it took a long time for them to get back to themselves, but it's a good record. Pure Instinct's a good record.
Unbreakable is a solid, that was a return to form Scorpions record. And I was going to say, I'm surprised that we haven't done a Scorpions video. Here's where I think I hesitate about doing a Scorpions video is they have so much shit. So much that I don't know. There's a ton of albums of theirs that I haven't listened to. So it's hard to go, okay. I mean, I know like their massive ones from the 80s, but that's about all. So I could, if I was going to do a song ranking, yes, I could come up with 10 favorite Scorpion songs, but I can't fucking do an album ranking unless we just said we were going to do the 80s,
just do like 79 to 96 and you'll cover it all.
Yep.
You'll cover the good
Still a
stuff.
lot of
Yeah.
albums.
Hell yes. And the stuff that I've heard from their most recent one, Rock Believer, is really fucking good.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love Rock Believer. There's another one like
Yes.
something about roots or something.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Really
good.
good stuff on that thing. So I salute them for still fucking doing it. Unreal. Because they've been around since like fucking 1972.
Yep.
So, all right. Which was the year I was born. All right. My number 4. Okay. You had to know this album was coming, and you probably, I mean, shit. I've talked about this band so many times. The album came out in 1991. It was just a little too late to the party, but the McQueen Street self-titled album, their vocalist, Derek Welsh, I think I talked about him in the Greatest Vocalists episode. They have some unbelievable ballads, some of the best fucking rock songs. This album is all killer, no filler. When I'm in the Mood, Woman in Love, Money, My Religion, Going Back to Mexico, and then ballads, Time. Holy fuck, I love the song Time. Um, in Heaven and Only the Wind, three kind of ballads. Some of them are kind of mid-tempo. Oh, this band deserves so much better. So if you have not listened to McQueen Street from 1991, do so. They just put out they in the last 5 years they've released a couple songs that I think either didn't make the debut or were getting recorded for the second one, and now I can't remember what it's called. Anyway, this ballad they put out that was unbelievable. I'll go find the title. I'll put it in the video. Amazing song. That guy can fucking screech like no one. So if you haven't listened to McQueen Street from 1991, do so. That's my number 4.
Nice.
It's a band I need to give a little more
Yeah,
attention to.
do so.
I've heard some of the songs, nothing's really grabbed me, but I need to listen to more.
Sure. Go listen to Time. I mean, if I had a song that I think that anybody, Time is probably the number, because it's kind of a ballad, but I love pussy ballads. So, all
Yeah,
right.
so
Yes. All right. Let's move on to our number 3 is Mariah. You are up.
yeah, so this is where I cheat a little bit on this one. Because same band came out the same year, which should tell you what it is, probably. And I can't choose because my top songs are on one, and and then I think the other one's a little more consistent. But it's Use Your Illusion 1 and 2 from Guns N' Roses. Couldn't decide.
That's
They both ended
that's
up being
legal.
here.
That's legal. Yeah,
That's
I
a
preach
1A
that.
and a 1B.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah, well, I mean, they came out the same year. They're from the same band, and I'm like, I don't know. They could have just been one album. It could have been just one big double album. That's kind of what I consider it. So trying to separate it was weird to me.
I completely fine.
So, but yeah. So for Use Your Illusion 1, my favorite song is probably November Rain or Don't Cry. There's so many good songs on there. Dust and Bones is one I really like. Bad Obsession. Back Off Bitch. And then I think the most underrated one off that one is Coma. I think that song is incredible. It's a really long song, but somehow they keep it interesting, and there's a lot, and you can tell it was a very emotional song, making it, and they talk about how difficult that one was to get out there, but that's a good one. And then Use Your Illusion 2, my favorite's probably Civil War, Go Estranged, and then for most underrated, I'd go Breakdown or So Fine, but I have a lot of memories attached to every song on here, except for maybe My World. That one's not great. You can skip that one. But I don't know what the hell that thing is, but now that would be my number 3. Take your pick. Either one, I'd be happy with either one as my number 3.
What the fuck was My World?
Some mushroom trip of Axl's that no one realized until it was out on the album.
Yeah, right.
Duff McKagan once said that was Axl's attempt at trying to emulate the beginning of what was coming out from Nine Inch Nails on Pretty Hate Machine.
Oh yeah, he loved Nine Inch Nails. I know that. I
He
know
did.
he's a huge Nine Inch Nails fan. That song's a bit weird, but I like the variety on the album. I've said I'm a big fan of it. I'm a big Guns N' Roses fan, so I don't think this can come as a surprise to anybody.
It was wild when those two albums came out because I bet you guys can remember videos were coming out off that record for almost 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's a lot of videos for those songs.
I
There's
mean,
a
it
lot
was
of them have videos.
it was mid 1993, and they were putting Estranged out. You
yeah.
know, like,
I love that video. That's a cool one.
I mean, it was so massive, and even though Nirvana was out at that time, Guns N' Roses was still probably the biggest rock band in the world. I guess Metallica, but still, Guns N' Roses just had this mystique about them. So yeah, I've talked about the Illusions. I wish they were one album, but whatever. There is a lot of epic shit on those two albums.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
I don't because I feel like people wouldn't agree what the best stuff is because I hear people say you should leave off this and I go, no, that's like my favorite song. What are you doing? But yeah, it's fair.
All right. We're on to Ryan's number 3.
Tiger Tails, Berserk, 1990. And
Nice.
do you see that one coming or what? I mean, what can I say? I covered it a lot during our Tiger Tales unboxing. It's
Yep.
my number one glam metal of all time.
Yep.
Six Sex is a song that had an amazing impact on me, similar to like Steelheart. I still love it, still crank it. This album's got a little bit of everything, and I'll kind of stop babbling about it there because I just kind of went off on it a couple episodes ago. But it's amazing, and I can't do without it.
I figured you were gonna have it, and yeah, so I've been pleasantly surprised at the amount of people who have picked up that compilation since we did that video. Yeah, Berserk is fucking fantastic. So check out your Tiger Tail.
That is a good one. I know you love that one, and I feel like, at least for me, I feel like everyone's kind of the same thing. My number one, two, and three all could have been my number one. They can be on any given day, and they're all phenomenal albums. And I feel like that's an album that would be deserving of someone's number one if they wanted to, because that's a phenomenal album.
Nice.
I was this close to having Wazbones on my list.
Oh,
wow.
wow.
I love that record.
Ballsy.
Damn.
Great record.
Yeah.
All right, Patrick, what do you got?
Before I forget, Jay's number 4 was Double Eclipse from Hardline. His number 3 is Dog Eat Dog. So,
Hell yeah.
my number 3 came out in 91, a very popular year on this list. And it is the album Strength from Enough's Enough. Fantastic record. Love it. Donnie Vai and Chips Enough. There's no denying what a great songwriting duo they are. That at that time in 91, Rolling Stone had them as one of the 10 bands to watch
Yes.
in 1991. I love that record. There was no massive hit on it. Mother's Eyes got a lot of play on MTV, which is great, but I absolutely love the title track Strength. And Baby Loves You is on there, which is another fantastic song with an amazing chorus on it. It's just a great record. There's not a song I skip on it. I love that record.
Baby Loves You always seemed like they could like hang out with the Tubes, like that, the Tubes albums and the Enough's Enough stuff. Like it could have like blended into one in a really weird way. But that's a great album, dude.
It's a great album all the way through. Don't have to skip a song.
I really like Enough's Enough. I don't know if I love that album. I probably another one I need to revisit. So I'll abstain from commenting because I love the debut, and I think by the time that album came out, I was like, okay, but so okay, I completely get it. All right. Fuck. What are we on? Are we on my
Number 3. Your number 3.
My number 3. Now I'm fucking my notes up. My number 3. Again, now I mean we're getting into the big ones here for me, but it's Electric Angels, and this could be my number 1 of that time period. And I have tried to promote this thing more than most albums on the channel. God, were they on MCA? I don't think so, but they got completely fucked. There was no promotion for this thing. They got one music video and fucking what's her name from Married with Children, Christina Applegate. was in the video. They must have spent all their fucking promotion budget on Christina Applegate because there were no ads for this. I am constantly on eBay looking for a fucking ad, a little one that I can take home and frame. Because I want something from that album. I did buy the vinyl record for like $50. I'm tempted just to cut the because I don't need to listen to the vinyl record to cut out the vinyl cover and frame it like the cherry pie thing. So to have something because I worship this album. We talked about the songs, Live in the City, Rattlesnake Kisses, Head Above Water. How was that not a fucking hit? Um, Cars Crash, All the Money, Whiplash, and please listen to the drinking song. Unbelievable. And I talked about the ballad, True Love and Other Fairy Tales. Jeez, I just can't. So I'm going to stop. I love that fucking album. Electric Angels, my number three.
The failure of that record is mind blowing to me because it was on Atlantic. And
Yeah.
Atlantic had every major artist at that time. I mean, it would make sense if they were on a roster that they were one of two bands, that were hard rock, heavy metal. But Atlantic had so many hard rock acts.
Yeah.
And they had so much success with hard rock acts. It's just mind blowing how they couldn't translate that one.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I agree. That whole album is so catchy. It's such a good album.
Yeah. And Shane he's always like, it's not metal. I'm like, fine, Shane. Okay, it's not metal, but whatever. It's pop rock, fucking.
What year did that come out?
1990. 90. Yep.
Feels like it should have been big.
Yep. All right.
The only interesting thing about that too is it was very kind of thought out rock, that much more so than its contemporaries.
Yes. I mean, yes, there was fuck, now I can't think of the word, but the lyrics weren't just generic. Like I said, there was word play and deeper meanings to stuff. And then there was humor.
Mm-hmm.
The drinking song. Shit, what's the lyric? It's like I never really loved you. I just drank too much. I mean, there was humor to it. There was seriousness to it. It was everything that I wanted out of an album. So, all right. Makes me sad, actually. Okay. We are on to our fucking number twos. So, Mariah, what's your number two?
Yeah, this album could have made my number one very easily. This could have been number one very easily. I kind of went back and forth between these two, but it ended up at number two, barely. And it is Doggy Dog by Warrant from 1992. Phenomenal album. It was gonna always be very high up here. Would have had Cherry Pie too, somewhere in the list beneath this if I had multiple, but it's every song on that is good. I hear one song, I want to listen to the whole album. I never get tired of it. I can listen to it over and over. I recommend it to everybody I know. They should listen to it. My favorite songs on there are oh gosh. Well, I'll give you three. Quicksand, April 2031, and The Hole in My Wall are phenomenal songs. And the most underrated, because it has like one of the least streams of anything on the album, somehow is Andy Warhol Was Right, which is such a phenomenal song. The whole album is good. You got, Machine Gun is great, Bonfire, Bitter Pill, Hollywood, All My Bridges Are Burning, Let It Rain, Inside Out, Sad Teresa. Every single song is great. The writing is great. The vocals are great. There's nothing more I could say about the album. I feel like that hasn't been said. It's such a phenomenal album.
I always joke that the only thing that's not great about Dog Eat Dog was Jerry Dixon's outfit.
Yep. Yep, wearing those leather shorts or that like leather onesie, and it shows all his chest and shit.
What the hell was he thinking?
I posted something on
which guy in the band was like, make sure Jerry wears the overalls.
I'm like whoever dressed Warrant for that photo shoot hopefully got fired the next day because that was fucked up.
It wasn't great.
Yeah, that album is perfection. So probably talk more about it here shortly. Okay,
as you should.
Ryan, what's your number two?
My number 2 is House of Lords doing Sahara from 1990. And I'm just like a secret House of Lords super fan. Their first 3 albums, and even some of their new stuff, are just fantastic. But this is their crown jewel for me. The perfect touch of keyboards mixed with like really shredding, crunchy guitar. And the voice of James Christian is one of my top voices. The song Chains of Love is an 11 out of 10. It's the burning like a flame of this album with the guitar and vocals kind of trading off. I won't bore you with the rest of the names of the songs because I would probably do all but 2 of them. And for those of you yearning for more House of Lords-ish first 3 album stuff, check out James Christian's Rude Awakening album from 94, which is probably would be my like number 2 or 3 if I included it with House of Lords as first 3. So Sahara, I mastered. I had it on tape first, and I was so down for it. Still am.
Where I was living in in like 94, 95 was in Portland, Oregon, the big, right next to the Mecca of Seattle. And that record, I'm trying to remember what the song was that was on the radio, but they were still playing that on rock radio in Portland, Oregon in 1994. It was pretty cool.
Cool.
What, Sahara, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the Mighty Simmons records.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Shit. Jeez. All right, Patrick, what's your number 2?
So this is where, Jay's number 2 was Brittany Fox, Bite Down Hard. No arguing that one. Great song.
Oh.
So this is where I'm going to put my disclaimer in about the fact that I'm purposely going out of my way to choose albums that I don't think everybody else would choose. Okay.
Right.
And want people to understand that all of these albums that you guys are choosing would have been in my top ones because of that. So I kind of, for number 2, I took something that would encompass all of this group's stuff because I've been an outspoken lover of everything that they did. And I think this might very well be one of the best of its genre. And that is the from 1996, August of 97, this came out. It's the Warrant 86 to 96 live record. And that's my way of copping out and taking Ultraphobic, Belly to Belly, Dog Eat Dog, all of them, because they're all so fantastic. It's no secret I'm writing a book about Warrant, and have been for a few years, and it's almost finished. And I'll be taking it out and shopping it at that point. But this album's so near and dear to me because it is a absolute perfect representation of what you saw from 1994 forward with this band live. To the point that when you close your eyes and you've seen Warrant in those periods, when you close your eyes and you listen to that 86 to 96 live record, it's like reliving what you saw on those tours. You can tell it's in a smaller place. You can tell that they were having a great night that night. Lane's vocals were on. They played all of the great songs you wanted them to play on that record. But to me, the part of that record that just hits home with me and I love dearly is the way that he spoke to the crowd in that, because it was that way. And it was a personal connection he had with the crowd, begging you to check out the new stuff because it was that good. It really was that good. Those songs were, and they needed to be heard. So I'll stop gushing about how much I loved that record. It almost was my number 1. But I'm so outspoken about how much I love Ultraphobic and Belly to Belly because those albums mean so much to me. And this live record, 86 to 96, is from the Belly to Belly tour, which I think was probably one of their best tours. So
I saw them so many times during those 2 years. I can't remember which ones were Ultraphobic and Belly to Belly because that's shit. I was in my drinking phase too. But like you mentioned, him like practically begging, please listen to this. It's the best stuff. I don't, know if that's what he said on the live album, but summing up, this is the best stuff I've ever written. Give this a chance. He would say that so much, and us diehards, we were like, fucking A, hey, look at us, because we are listening.
Yeah.
And we love this stuff. So don't look at the other people who are like, fuck, here we go. I got to go take a piss, like we just talked about in the last episode. We were like, focus on us because we are going to give you the affirmation that these albums deserve. And speaking of that live album, I I don't re I bought it, but I don't even remember hearing about it. I think I was looking through a record store and I was like, fuck. Warrant has a live CD and I didn't know about it. I mean, it got like zero promotion. And there was like one copy at the store and I fucking bought it. So anyway, yeah, it's an underrated period when and the alcohol hadn't taken over yet. You could tell he'd been drinking.
Yeah.
But it was still like it didn't seem like it was fucking him up to the point where the performance was bad, you know?
It's also kind of a bummer because this was the last record that came out on CMC for them.
Yep.
And at that time was when BMG bought CMC out.
Yep.
And BMG went and reissued this record under like 5 different titles to get people to buy it. It's out there as extended editions and things like that. And if you don't pay attention closely and you think you're getting something different, you're not. You're getting the 86 to 96 record. It's wonderful, but you already own it probably.
Yeah. So, all right. Holy shit, this is going to be a long video. We are on to our number ones. Mariah, I'm dying to hear what your number one is.
What was your number 2?
Did I say my number 2?
Nope.
Fuck. Didn't I?
No, I was gonna say, wait a minute, I feel like I'm missing something.
My number 2, okay. I had to get my list out because shit. But again, another album that I promoted constantly. It's Wild Side's Under the Influence.
Knew it.
Damn it. I won't go into the songs. Fucking great ballads. Drew Hanna's vocals, I feel, are just, and he talked in the interview that I did, about how, even Eddie Van Halen said, I don't know if you're going to be able to sing that way. You might blow your voice out. And then Drew's talked about when they tried to reunite in 2016, he's like, I tried to reach for those notes and I couldn't fucking do it. So maybe it was just years away. Anyway, his voice is so original and fucking, what's his name? The guitar player?
Brent Woods.
Brent Woods has gone on to play with everybody. Obviously a great fucking guitar player. So Under the Influence, one of the perfect albums of that genre, but it came out in 1992, so it was fucked, unfortunately. So,
I love that album.
yep. Okay, that was my number 2. Now we're on to your number ones. Mariah, again, I'm dying to hear what your number 1 is.
Yep. So one of several of these are some of my favorite albums of all time, but this is probably top 3 album of all time. Slave to the Grind by Skid Row from 1991. It's a phenomenal album. There isn't a bad song on there. Of course, I like the version that has Beggar's Day as opposed to Get the Fuck Out, because I don't really like Get the Fuck Out, and I love Beggar's Day. But Wasted Time is one of my favorite songs of all time. That song it's so good. So much emotion. Absolutely love it. For most underrated, I'd go maybe The Threat, or Riot Act, or Mud Kicker, Creep Show. You could go with that. You could go with any of them. They feel like they should be a lot bigger. Quicksand Jesus is great. Slave to the Grind, Monkey Business. You could just name all of it. It's an absolute perfect album. I love the album cover. Just like Dog Eat Dog, I hear one song when you hear a little thing, and both those albums could be on repeat. I would never get sick of it.
Did you guys see the recent interview where Rachel Bolan talked about how after Monkey Business, some radio stations started playing Quicksand Jesus, and the band was like, no, they had to like call people and ask them to not play it because they were going to put out Slave to the Grind, and he felt like that was one of the biggest mistakes because then people were like, okay, fine, fuck, we won't play Quicksand Jesus, and by the way, we won't play Slave to the Grind or anything else that you put out. So
yeah, that seems like a dumb idea. Why would you want them to tell them to stop playing something of yours, especially if it's doing well?
They were somebody said like, you guys are so big, you can do whatever you want. Well, that unfortunately wasn't the way it was going to work in 1991, 1992. The change was happening, and so I'm right with you. It's not on my list. And when I said at the beginning, like an album that you might be shocked, it's obviously in my honorable mentions. I love that album, but it's so yeah. I
I,
knew it was going to be in your top couple. So
oh yeah, no, it's a phenomenal album. I mean, there's so many great albums that didn't make my list. Pull by Winger was one of them that I'd leave off, and I go, oh, seriously? Yeah, it's just there's so many great albums, but this one, just every song is killer.
yep. All right, Ryan, you're number one.
After the Rain, Nelson.
Yes.
No, I'm kidding.
There's no freaking way.
although I do like that album. Okay, my
That'll
actual
probably be in the
number
opening montage.
my actual number one is an album I do not shut up about, and one that I kind of missed you talking about, but it's Double Eclipse from 1992, Hardline. It's the blueprint for me for melodic hard rock. The ultimate voice, the most badass lyrical content. Got a little of everything, and it would probably, just like you said about Skid Row's album, this would be in my top 5 albums of all time. So here's where I got it.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm regretting more and more forgetting about the album. Such a great album.
Yeah. It is. Oh, yeah. I have it in my cart on eBay. There's a 24 by 36-inch poster for that album. It's $40 and $13 shipping. So should I just fucking pull the trigger?
I'd pay that $53.
It's only $53. Do I have $53? I don't.
Yeah,
Sometimes
you can always make more money, but you may not be able to get a hardline.
And you're exactly right. And if it fucking sells tomorrow, I'm gonna be like, shit. Why didn't you fucking buy that thing?
Yeah, then you'll be mad because you're like, oh, I should have done that. Why was I not doing that? No, pull the trigger on that. That's gonna be awesome.
You're
They did a very quick club tour of East Coast dates with 21 Guns. And I love 21 Guns album Salute.
Yeah.
That would have been one effing great show.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
I have that 21 Guns Salute album. I probably haven't listened to it very much because
it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
That was close to being on there. The song "The Rain" is like,
oh damn, that's a great song.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Patrick, what's your number one?
What's my number one, Guru?
No way. You're shit.
Human Race. Love it.
No way.
I said my last unpopular opinion of the night will be my favorite album of all time is Subhuman Race from 1995.
No shit. I'm sorry to interrupt. I knew you loved it. I didn't know it was your favorite of all time.
Yeah,
it's no surprise that Snake and Rachel made an incredibly heavy record. I mean, look at what they did on their tour with Slave. They're out with Pantera. They're out with Soundgarden. They played with Nine Inch Nails for a few gigs. I mean, not that there's no industrial on that record at all, but they were heavily surrounded by for lack of a better term, heavy. Their surroundings were nothing but heavy music, and I love that record. It's a record that was alienating to so many people, but to me, it fit and it hit home with me, and it was, I have had a lot of bad things going on in my life at that time, and that record came out at the perfect time and gave me strength to get through those things. And we all have a record like that in our life that hit us so hard. And I don't ever expect that people will understand why Subhuman Race means so much to me, but I love that album. A couple of tracks that I think people need to give a really good try to. I love Iron Will. The last song on the record is Sebastian is just railing in that song, and it's so good. Face Against My Soul, I think, has one of the best choruses Skid Row ever did. Medicine Man has an insanely good guitar riff to it. The whole thing's great, and I haven't met a person that doesn't love Breaking Down, which is an incredible song. Again, I totally understand it's an unpopular opinion. But I love that record through and through, and it's my favorite album of all time. So
I love hearing you talk that way about it, and I'm fucking with you. You know, I
oh,
feel
I know
like
that,
that's
dude.
when I defend like ultraphobic to people who hate ultraphobic, that's warrant went grunge. That's how I feel, you know,
Yeah.
so I definitely appreciate what you're saying about it. And
Yeah, it's not for everybody, that's for sure. I mean, it's abrasive. It's an abrasive album. And
Yeah.
yeah, you know, Rachel Bolan has said before that it's not his favorite. He just did that anniversary video where he's
Yep.
on there for like 10 seconds going, yeah, not my favorite album. And I'm like, dude, don't shit on it. It's my favorite record ever, and you made it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I love it.
You're right, though. Everyone has that album or a couple of albums that, it just came at the right time, or there's some memory to it's just something that makes that album really, really special beyond the music. It transcends the music.
Yeah.
And, that's a beautiful thing. And I do enjoy quite a few songs from that album. My Enemy, Fireside, Fire Sign, not Side, and Eileen are probably my favorite
Oh,
ones off that.
Eileen's got that breakdown in the middle with that heavy freaking riff, and it's so great. You know, there was like a 2 month period in 1995 where we got epic albums that just came out week after week after week after week right then. I mean, they're not really, a hair band, but Faith No More put out my favorite Faith No More record the same day that this came out. I got two of probably my top 10 records of all time on the same day.
That's
Between
pretty
this
cool.
one and Faith No More's Fool for King for a Day, Fool for a Lifetime. You know, two amazing albums that came out the same day.
I
Hey,
do
hey,
like
Patrick.
I like
Yeah,
Into Another. I like Eileen. I love Breaking Down. There is stuff that I like on it. It just
yeah,
the when I go from Slave to the Grind, which I'm with Mariah, when I hear a song off Slave to the Grind, I don't want to listen to one song. It's immediately like, okay, now I got to listen to the whole album. So,
Yep.
right.
Like, all right, I'm sitting here for an hour now. All
yep,
right.
exactly. So,
And Jay's number one was Wild Side Under the Influence.
okay.
Uh,
Good man, Jay. Good man.
Hey,
I'll have
Patrick,
to tell my
for,
boyfriend that your number one was Subhuman Race, because as I
Well,
said, he loves that album. He's like, has to be top three. Into Another, his favorite Skid Row song that he asks every time I play anything Skid Row. So you're not the only one who loves that album.
what
Hey,
were you going to say,
Mariah,
Ryan?
I met your boyfriend the other day. He was at some club. I don't know. He was dancing with some dude. I think making out with him a little bit. He looks like a hell of a kisser. I mean, I don't know.
I think I saw him too. He had that leather vest on. You know?
That's right.
The
One
Jerry
of those
Dixon
police
outfit.
hats, like Rob Halford used to wear.
He
And
had that
has
Jerry
with cap.
Dixon overalls on.
Jerry Dixon overalls, yeah.
Seems like a hell of a guy. No, I'm just kidding. Sure he's
hey,
awesome.
for a guy that ignored Subhuman Race as much as I have, what song is most like Can't Stand the Heartache that you can get me into?
Oh boy.
There's after Iron Will, the last song, there's about 2 minutes and 30 seconds of silence before there's like some guy shaking a maraca for about 30 seconds as a secret track. It's probably that one.
All right, good.
Can't
I'll
stand
tune
that.
into that part.
That's hilarious. Okay. Fuck. All right. We are on to my number one. And you talk about albums that came out at the perfect time. And Dog Eat Dog came out at the perfect time for me. And here's why. So it comes out in 1992. I graduated from high school in 1991. I felt so sure that I was going to go off and just kick ass in the world. You know, I was a good basketball player. I thought I was going to go play college basketball, you know, and I thought I was just going to go to college and just do great like I felt I had in high school. I get to college, I start drinking too much, I start smoking too much, my grades go to shit. I gain a bunch of weight. I can't play basketball. I'm like, I'm fucking lost. And this album comes out and I'm like, damn, like the darker side. So I felt like I was with Janie Lane on Cherry Pie, completely got it. And then I was with him on Dog Eat Dog. And then later on, I would be completely with him on Ultraphobic and most of Belly to Belly. So you know, it I did end up, in January of 93, I signed up for the Guard. That was something that did get me back on track for a while. But in Dog Eat Dog, you can tell Janie Lane's starting to feel like, fuck, I'm a little bit lost here. I thought I knew where I was going, and that's where I felt like I was. And I want to do an episode one time, sometime on hey, you picked the wrong single. I don't feel like Machine Gun should have been the first single.
No.
I like the song Machine Gun, but I'm gonna love you little baby like a mama machine gun was not right for 1992. There were so many other options. Hole in My Wall. Mariah talked about Andy Warhol was right. I think that's one of the most underrated songs on that album, and it kind of felt like the newer version of Uncle Tom's Cabin. It was slow and melodic at times. It got really heavy at times. Some of the best lyrics of the fucking genre. And I've always told people I love this three-song run. Hollywood, All My Bridges Are Burning, and Quicksand. All My Bridges Are Burning might be my favorite song on the album. Quicksand might be. Andy Warhol might be. Fuck. And then you did have a sex rocker, Bonfire, that is fucking amazing and was the closest thing you were going to find to something that would have fit on Cherry Pie. Let It Rain is an amazing ballad. The Bitter Pill is an amazing ballad. I've talked about it 8 billion times over the course of, but look, I still fucking get passionate about it. Like, I'm still like, oh, and just knowing it means even more knowing what happened to Janie Lane, like you saw his downfall start with Dog Eat Dog and continue on, but it's a perfect record. Dog Eat Dog from Warrant is my number one.
There's a great story that Michael Wagner told about that album was recorded in Florida at a studio that was most popular for death metal bands in Florida. Like Deicide and whatnot had been recording at the same time that Warrant is doing Dog Eat Dog in there. And, all of these bands would kind of razz the Warrant guys when they were coming and going from the studio. But when they were recording one night with doing Quicksand, it was just Janie doing the vocal on Quicksand at the end of it. And it was a late night that they had been there, and they were walking out at the end. And one of the players in Deicide made his way towards Janie on the way out and said, I've never heard somebody sing a song so passionately as I've heard that.
Oh, wow.
And, I can't verify that story's true or not, but if Michael Wagner's saying it happened, I believe it, because what does he have to lose with that? But just think about that from Lane's perspective, a guy who had been for years searching for the recognition in his writing. And, to hear that from a guy who would never listen to his music at all. What a powerful thing to have happen.
And also so unfortunate that he needed those types of things to happen. Right. I still I go back and read these old articles in Metal Edge and Hit Parader and Circus. I have like 20 magazines sitting right beside my couch right now that I'll sit and flip through. And even on Cherry Pie, you on the interviews, you can tell him you can tell that he's like, fuck, I wish I had more respect, that he's disappointed that people shit on Warrant, and for some reason, Bret Michaels could let it roll off his back.
Right.
And Janie Lane could not. And, look, Bret Michaels is still out fucking, Janie Lane could be fucking Bret Michaels.
Yeah.
On a lesser scale, still out playing shows, right? And obviously the guy, could have been writing but he needed more people saying, yes, you're good enough. Yes, we like you. And it bothered the shit out of him that more people didn't.
There's also for fans of that record that there's just nothing out there about Dog Eat Dog in the world. There's very few live performances that you can even find of that tour or whatnot. But there is a fantastic somebody, God bless him for putting it on YouTube. It's a cassette tape that was distributed to radio stations from KNAC in LA on the album release of Dog Eat Dog. And it's a 45-hour-long minute interview with the band about the record that KNAC did, hosted by Ton Mastery, who was like the big DJ at KNAC. She passed away a few years ago. But it's on YouTube. You can find it, and it is phenomenal because Janie goes track by track through the record, talking about the writing of the songs with the band there in front of a live audience, and then they also do it's like kind of like the world premiere of the album. They play a couple tracks off of it, the studio versions. They don't perform them, but
Yep.
it's such a great piece of history. I put a comment in the YouTube video that was like, "Thank you for putting this out here because there is almost no history available on that record from the band. From it, it's such a, I think it was such a kick in the face on such a great record." So
Yeah.
I'll show this real quick. I think I showed this before we started the video, but fuck. Here, let me do this real quick. So anyway, I saw the Dog Eat Dog show tour was the first Warrant show that I saw. They played at the Bison Sports Arena in Fargo, and somebody was selling this on the Facebook Marketplace for Friday, November 13th, Fargo, North Dakota, Bison Sports Arena. They played with Lynch Mob and Tora Tora, and she also gave me a ticket. So it's not my ticket, but ticket to the show. Yeah, it's shocking how little there's some live, not concert footage, but you can hear them play it like the Astoria in Great Britain. So you can hear some live stuff, but there's no live shit from Dog Eat Dog and
the
yeah.
the entire Astoria concert's on there, but
Yeah.
and then there's from I think Lubbock, Texas. There's like a performance of Bitter Pill that you can find that's clearly recorded in somebody's pocket.
Yeah.
But there is nothing out there from Dog Eat Dog.
Yeah. Yep. So, okay. We are now fucking pushing 2 hours and 20 minutes, depending on how long. So, okay, but hey, we just had 4 people talk about their 10 favorite albums, hair metal albums, and hair metal adjacent from the 1990s. So, it was worth it. It's a video that needed to happen. And we would love to hear in the comments, what are your favorite albums, hair metal or not, from the 1990s? And what did you think of our list? What were we missing? So, with that, it's time to bid adieu to our roundtable members. Mariah, awesome. You had a great list. I love your fucking shirt. You look awesome in it. Thank you for being on.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, everyone had phenomenal lists. I don't think any of us had one in common. I mean, there's just so many great, all of us. You know, some of us had two in common or whatever,
Yeah.
but such a great time for music. So many great albums, and it's really, really great to highlight them and talk about the music we love so much. So
And there needs to be,
having me.
sorry to interrupt, there needs to be a part 2 because I have 10, 12,
Absolutely.
15 fucking albums that I really do want to talk about from the 90s. So we could do that at some point. Ryan from Metalcast and City to City, thanks for being on, man.
Thank you very much. Looking forward to part 2. Well, I will definitely have a Def Leppard A, B, and C.
All right. All right. Hey,
It ain't gonna be slang.
did anything bad happen when you had to go out or what?
Medical call. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Awesome. Appreciate you being on. And
Thanks.
Patrick from Vermont, my good buddy, thank you for being on, man.
It's always an honor, and I gotta say, this is my first video with Ryan, and it was a lot of fun. So, Mariah, it's always awesome being on here with you too.
Oh, yeah. That was great.
Guru.
You had a great list.
You guys are fantastic. Hey, like, subscribe, what the hell, ring the bell. You have the opportunity to become a member. It costs a little bit. You get first response to comments, early access to some of the videos, and I'm hosting Hair Metal Mansion every Saturday from 6 to 8 Central Time. The link is in the description, as is the link to buy a kick-ass shirt like Mariah has. Whatever you can do to support the channel, I just appreciate you being here. Until the next video comes out, my name is Anthony. They call me the Guru. Take care of yourselves.